My name is Rue Stewart. I'm a drummer, a DJ, producer based in Edinburgh, and now I also cut records using this lathe. This is my record lathe that I had shipped across from Arizona with Mike, the guy for restoring and setting up record lathes. What gave me the idea to get a record lathe in the first place was, I think it's fair to say I've got quite an addictive personality, and I also really like records and collecting records. I've got a lot of them, and it was getting to the stage when I was buying so many records, I just thought, why can't I just make copies of my own, like cut my own ones essentially. So this is my record lathe, and for anyone that doesn't know what a record lathe is, it was originally used in the 50s to cut these 78s in radio stations in America. It would cut a show onto this, and then the show would then be shipped to another part of the States in a different time zone and played out on a different radio station. It's been fully restored and it's been modified to cut at 33 or 45 RPM, and the lathe cut record looks slightly different to what you'd normally expect a record to look like. So this is a lathe cut test press that I've done. So I cut to squares of see-through polycarbonates. It's the same material that CDs are made from. This is a 10-inch, so you'll get about 7 minutes of audio on each side. And then this is just a record from my record collection that was pressed. So looks and will sound completely different. Pressing process, you've got a master, and then that machine will press hundreds or thousands of the same thing, same piece of music onto the records. Where with my process, each of these are made by myself in real time, by hand, set up the machine, calculate the angles and the weights and everything in real time, and then I listen to each of the records to make sure that they sound as good as they possibly can do. And that's basically what a lathe cut record is. When I cut a record, what you'll get is the record itself on see-through square 7-inch or 10-inch. You'll also get a blank inlay disc and a blank sleeve as well. And what that means for you as an artist is that you've got complete freedom to create a unique piece of art. So for example, with this piece here, my son designed the sleeve itself. He's 3, he can paint straight onto it. Kirsten had some stamps made up, stamped her name and the name of the track on here, and the same on the sleeve too. This is another test pressing. I've done a 10-inch one here this time. And what I'm working on just now is spray painting the actual record itself. So I've got access to a laser cutter, so I can get a laser cut stencil made of your logo or of a design that you want, and then spray paint the records too. So it just means that you've got complete creative control and you can make everything a unique piece of art. Some of the quirks, how long have you got? Everything is done by hand. As you can see, all the weights, measurements, a lot of it's done by feeling, angle by eye. The machine itself is restored at 70 years old to cut at 45 RPM. This was originally designed to do 33 there and then 78, so that's been converted. So when you're cutting at 45 RPM, there's more variables that can be involved. Anything can go wrong at any time. Anything you hear as soon as the needle here starts cutting will be on the record, so it could be like a tiny bit of dust, something gets underneath there, that'll be on the cut when it comes out. Something can drop, things can go wrong if it's not oiled up correctly. There's millions of things that can go wrong, but hopefully when something does go wrong, it's not like a bad thing, something that should be easy enough to fix. I hope it'll open up getting records cut on a smaller scale to smaller artists and indie labels. It was one of the reasons that I wanted to get this set up. My partner, Kirsten, is a musician, and she's just recorded a new album, and kind of seeing the process that an independent artist has got to go through to get a run pressed from a pressing plant. You know, the size of volume you've got to get, and the price is just you know, astronomical. Whereas with something like this, I can do a run of 5, 10, 15, 20, even up to 50 probably in an evening or on a weekend, and it's, you know, much cheaper than getting vinyl press. So hopefully it'll just open up more options to local labels.